Good morning, gang. Happy Sunday. Sorry I'm a little late, but believe it or not, I actually had to get some sleep. So I slept in a little bit. I want to talk about something this morning that a lot of you might have seen on the live stream last night, but I understand, a lot of people don't want to sit through an hour-long live stream or whatever, can't or whatever. So I want to talk about the crux of what happened last night and the main topic of what we talked about. At about 5 p.m. Eastern last night, the EU and the US basically put sanctions on Russia to the point of removing them from the SWIFT system. Now, if you don't know what the SWIFT system is, that is the banking system owned by the Bank of Belgium that is used for all international money transfers. So if you think about, you want to send a gift to family in Romania or something like that, whatever it would be, or the Germany buying natural gas from Russia, or any payments that the United States makes to China, whatever it would be. That's all done through SWIFT. Now, it is not the only way that international finance is conducted between countries, but it is the most cost-effective and time-efficient way of doing it. Yes, there are other ways, but they are much more difficult to do. So I want to give this as a point because a lot of people have made comments on what they think is going on, and there's a lot of misinformation, go figure, being put out by the media and by YouTube. Now, it is true that all banks in Russia have not been blocked through this, okay? Let's put it this way, all banks in Russia have not been sanctioned, okay? But there's decent reason for it. Not all banks are part of SWIFT, okay? Anywhere. And I'll give you this. I've got bank accounts with two different banks in the United States. Capital One, which we all know, okay, they are part of SWIFT. Commercial Bank, which is a local bank here, is not. I've got to assume that the same thing is going on in Russia. The larger banks are, the smaller banks aren't. Now, I have no idea how many banks there are in Russia, but to give you this, there are 75 pages worth of banks listed in the United States that are part of SWIFT, okay? So you're probably looking at well over 5,000 or 6,000 banks. 80% of the banks in Russia that participate in SWIFT have been blocked. Okay, this is going to make a huge, huge dent in their economy. It will inevitably cause inflation. It will inevitably stop Russia from doing business in the international stage to a point. Now, we probably all know that Russia has been working diligently with China to set up their own settlement agreement, their own kind of like a SWIFT deal. So Russia will still be able to do trade with China because China has not put sanctions on Russia, and China will not even call what's going on in Ukraine an invasion. So China and China and Russia are aligning themselves together here, if you will, financially on the world economic stage, which goes back to Ronald Reagan, and are we seeing the formation of a new axis of evil? Now, where it gets interesting is India is also working with Russia. India is an ally of the United States, but India is working with Russia. Okay, how does that one play out? Now, how does this all affect us? Well, the European Union and the United States have now basically decimated the Russian financial system. I mean, the one point I didn't mention in there, forgot real quick, we have also stopped the Russian central bank, the government itself, from doing business, all right, which is huge. What retaliation could Russia possibly could Russia possibly put on the rest of the world? Well, let's look at this. We know a lot of cyber attacks, a lot of hacking comes from Russia. If you look at just what's gone on in Ukraine in the last week, the governments have been hacked, the banks have been hacked. There's video of people in Ukraine trying to get money. They can't, okay, because of the hackings. This could relatively easily be done in the United States. Now, I talked on a video last night about how to protect yourself, getting some cash, how to print your daily balances so you've got a record, whatever. I highly, highly advise that at this point because it's Sunday. Nothing's really going on, okay? You know, if you're going to hack a financial system, the weekend's not the time to do it. You know, you want to cause as much chaos as possible, hack Wall Street tomorrow. Hack the banks tomorrow, you know, when all this goes on. You certainly know this is being considered, if not worked on, okay? That is without question. Now, how effective this could be, who knows? Because the international banks, the Citibanks, the Bank of Americas, you know, that sort of stuff, they probably have better security than the small local community banks or credit unions or anything like that. But those are also going to be the ones that are gone after first. You don't know how far in depth the cyber warfare is going to go. Could it go toward the smaller banks and stuff like that? Yeah, that would decimate the U.S. economy, the European economy at the same time. Taking a country out of SWIFT is huge, guys. It may not sound like much. It's only been done once, okay? And that's Iran. And Iran was kicked out of SWIFT in 2012, still is out. And it was pretty much an instant hit to 30% of their GDP. It prevented them from selling oil on the open market. And we all know what's going on with the Iranian economy. Iran is decimated as an economy, okay? The estimates are this will affect the Russian GDP by about 5%. It will inevitably cause hyperinflation, or at least high inflation. Let's not necessarily say hyperinflation in Russia, which is going to make it a lot more difficult for the average Russian citizen, okay? A lot of whom are against this war in the first place, and they're the ones that are going to get punished. Now, sure, you got to punish the government, and unfortunately, you punish the government, you punish the people too. That's just what's going on. I wanted to let everybody know that because pay close attention to what is going on with potentially your bank, your money, okay? But I also wanted to clear the air with people where they may not understand, why didn't we sanction all the banks? Okay, you know, the little tiny bank somewhere, whatever, that's just a little more difficult to do. They hit 80% of them, all the major banks. It's going to be very difficult for Russia to sell oil, any petroleum products anywhere. Germany, hopefully they can figure out something. I don't know, maybe coal, maybe turn the nuclear plants back on, tell Greta Thunberg to go shove it, be polite. But Russia is still going to be able to sell to China, to North Korea, potentially to India. So this isn't going to be the death knell to the Russian economy. All it's going to do is start Cold War number 2. Have a good Sunday. Pinball out.